How to fix missing textures in Fallout New Vegas. Welcome back to Teknobalta. Are you experiencing missing, gray or black textures in Fallout New Vegas that look like they were painted in basic software? During our extensive diagnostics, our technical team encountered this exact rendering anomaly while testing the game on modern hardware. Teknobalta has investigated the underlying engine flaws, causing these broken reflections and missing surface maps. We have formulated a definitive list of advanced solutions to completely restore your game's visual integrity. Our primary breakthrough came when we tested the implementation of DXVK into the game's root directory. This translates legacy DirectX calls into modern Vulkan API commands, drastically improving texture rendering processes. By deploying the pre-configured DXVK release tailored for compatibility, we immediately eliminated the gray and black missing textures. Download the latest release from the Nexus repository and extract the dynamic link libraries directly into your executable folder. Through our performance monitoring, we noticed the game engine frequently runs out of memory, leading to texture dropouts. The vanilla executable is heavily limited and defaults to utilizing only 2 GB of system memory. Teknobalta strongly advises running the 4 GB patcher utility to modify the game's executable permanently. This unlocks large address awareness, providing the engine with ample memory allocation to load high-resolution assets seamlessly. During our mod integration testing, we discovered that the engine often fails to override vanilla textures with newly installed graphical assets. This creates a severe pipeline conflict where textures appear completely blank or disjointed. To resolve this specific failure, toggle the Archive Invalidation feature within your chosen mod manager platform. Enabling this critical setting forces the game engine to recognize custom texture paths over the default archives. Our analysis of the configuration files revealed a specific parameter responsible for rendering character and entity textures correctly. When this value is misconfigured, characters often exhibit the infamous gray facial texture bug. Navigate to your Documents folder and open the Preferences configuration file using a dedicated text editor. Locate the Load Face Generation parameter and change its Boolean value to 1, which forces the engine to compute facial textures accurately. Micro-stuttering and frame timing issues can occasionally cause the engine to skip texture streaming phases entirely. We implemented the tick fix modification to modernize the internal frame pacing mechanism of the software. This sophisticated plugin not only smooths out gameplay rendering, but also repairs underlying memory management protocols. Install this utility into your Scripting Plugins folder to ensure textures stream into the game world without fatal interruptions. Corrupt shader cache files are a notorious internal culprit for localized texture corruption and black reflective surfaces. Teknobalta's diagnostics show that the legacy engine struggles to rewrite these temporary files once they natively degrade. Access the game directory within your Documents folder and delete the compiled shader files located inside. Upon your next application launch, the engine will safely generate fresh, error-free shaders tailored to your current graphics hardware. We consistently observe texture overlapping errors when the plugin load order is sorted incorrectly by the user. Structural conflicts between master files and graphical overhauls will reliably leave environments entirely untextured. Deploy an automated load order optimization tool to arrange your plugins according to their internal metadata structure. A properly sorted load order is an absolute necessity for maintaining visual stability across the rendered wastelands. If you utilize external post-processing presets, our testing revealed that improper memory allocation limits within the local configuration will actively block textures from loading. The memory block sizes must be aligned with your specific graphics card capabilities. Open your local post-processing configuration file and navigate to the memory section to adjust the reserved memory size parameters. We recommend setting the video memory size according to your actual hardware metrics to prevent constant texture cycling failures. Outdated or corrupted graphics drivers frequently fail to process the older texture formats required by this specific engine. We evaluated various driver versions and found that performing clean installations minimizes rendering desynchronization. Execute a clean installation of your graphics drivers using a dedicated display driver uninstaller utility in safe mode. This guarantees no residual legacy files conflict with the active texture mapping coordinates of the game client. Sometimes the simplest architectural explanation is actual file degradation within the main installation directory itself. Missing binary archive files will directly and immediately result in absent textures for specific items or global environments. Utilize your digital storefront client to mathematically verify the integrity of the installed game files. This automated process securely scans your repository and redownloads any missing or corrupted texture archives required by the base engine. The vanilla heap allocation system in the game engine is highly inefficient and creates massive texture processing bottlenecks. Our lab implemented a custom heap replacer module to overhaul how foundational memory chunks are dynamically handled. By swapping out the outdated memory management algorithms, the engine loads exterior textures significantly faster and with zero crashing. Simply place the required dynamically linked library files into the exact same directory as your main executable. Many graphical interface components and modern scripting frameworks rely heavily on the system redistributables to function correctly. When these core system libraries are outdated, graphical translation layers may fail to initialize texture rendering algorithms properly. We recommend downloading the absolute latest cumulative packages directly from the official operating system repository. Installing both the 32-bit and 64-bit architectural versions ensures total operational compatibility across all engine extensions. During our controlled environment testing phase, background hardware monitoring overlays occasionally intercepted direct rendering calls. This software interference fundamentally prevented textures from being properly drawn onto three-dimensional game models. Disable all software overlays, including those from digital distribution platforms and your graphics control panel, before launching the application. Stripping away these intrusive background hooks allows the game engine to communicate directly with your primary graphics processor. If specific assets are entirely invisible while the rest of the visual game looks fine, it indicates a critical missing mesh dependency. Graphical modification: authors sometimes upload textures, but unintentionally forget to include the required structural framework files. Review the original project documentation to ensure you have manually downloaded all required base files and hotfixes. Teknobalta advises manually cross-checking the meshes and textures directories to verify all corresponding assets are physically present. Finally, our testing definitively showed that forced texture compression activated via the external graphics control panel destroys legacy texture formatting. Overriding the application's default visual filtering settings will absolutely cause widespread graphical anomalies. Open your primary graphics control panel and aggressively set all texture filtering and optimization settings to be application controlled. Letting the game engine natively manage its own mipmaps and texture rendering is the safest way to guarantee visual fidelity. By implementing these advanced technical steps, your game world should now render flawlessly without missing or broken textures. We hope this comprehensive deep dive successfully resolved your underlying engine limitations today. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more.